What is the richest thing you've seen someone casually do? I work at a thrift store and there is a woman who brings us a perfectly good and expensive mattress every month. I thought she is maybe a mattress store owner or something, but when I asked she said that she just likes to sleep on a clean mattress, so she buys a new one every month. I was in a nice bike shop once and saw a woman rush in and buy about $15,000 worth of bikes for her and her family so that they could use them that weekend at their vacation house. It was fun watching the sales guy try to talk her out of them at first, but he gave in pretty quickly. I do not know rich people. I realize that reading comments here. Fly their helicopter literally 1 mile from the backyard of their mansion to the airport. Then get into their private jet and fly to the next province over. In Canada. Decided the scenery wasn't interesting enough from the private yacht, so hired a private helicopter and pilot to ferry him about to look at things that took his fancy. This was in some gorge in NT, Australia. Buy the property next door to him on a whim. A set of 8th grade twins at the international school I taught at in Singapore took an Emirates first-class suite to France for the weekend to see their football team play. Their team. They owned it. My favorite, "Fuck you, I have money" story comes from the owner of my old job. He lives on a river and across the other side they were talking about developing it for townhouses and a golf course. He didn't want that to ruin his view from his backyard. So, he bought all of the land and developed it into a park. So, now no one can do anything with it. Owner of an NBA team rented my parents' house in the Keys for 3 months. He owns a vacation home in Miami. His captain brought down his 2 smaller boats. His big yacht had too much draft for out 120 dock. The guy renting it ended up only spending 2 nights there the first year. He came back and rented for 2 months the following year. This year, we suspect he'll be back in the spring again. My mom was like, why would he do that? I told her that he bought the option. He is a billionaire. 100K is like a bar tab for this guy. Dinner in NY with 15 people. I was the vendor. Client grabs the bill, leans over and whispers to me, let's be honest. We all know I can afford this. I let her. Flew us somewhere on his private jet that he owned. After we got off the plane we walked about 200 feet to a car service waiting for us. Jet owner thought he left something on the plane and handed one of the pilots a $100 bill while asking him if he could go grab it for him. Pilot starts walking toward the plane when owner immediately finds the item already in his bag. He calls out to the pilot that the item's been found. Pilot comes back and just gets to keep the extra $100 for walking a few feet. Once saw someone at a Panda Express throw away their uneaten spring roll. I saw a man lose 5 hands of blackjack in a row, betting $25,000 a hand. He lost $125,000 in about 2 minutes. He got up and left after that. I went on a date with a billionaire once. Granted, this wasn't extravagant, but still not an everyday occurrence. He tipped absolutely everyone who did anything for him. So at a bar he orders a water, bartender brings back tap water, gets tipped. The guy is like, no, I need a bottled one. Waiter brings back, gets tipped again, but it's wrong, no. Ice in cup. Ice please, gets tipped again. I swear in the end he tipped him like triple digits for essentially messing up the order. IDK. Give me $800. He was a customer. I was a cashier. He said, how's your day? I said, I'm worried cuss IDK how I'm going to pay rent this month. He asked how much and he came back with it cash. I had only been working there for a month. A very rich fellow commissioned me to paint a portrait of his cat, which he hung next to an actual Degas drawing. I'm honored to be in such good company. But damn, that was surreal. Guy near a Scottish Highlands bought an island on a river and built a luxury house. Put a tent over the build site to keep going through winter. A few years later, he doesn't like that a new power line is going to cross his land. So he puts the house land on the market for £12 million. But eventually sold it for £5 million. By all accounts was delighted to get it sold. Whip out a briefcase full of cash. I was working at a car dealership and this dude pay for the whole car in cash. Most movie thing I've seen in real life. Sent the nanny to fly in the family G550 to pick up the new Birkin bag in Paris so she could have it 3 days ahead of her friends. Singapore-based businessman in the shipping industry. Bought a Mercedes Maybach S580 for about 1 million Singapore dollars. Decided the vehicle was too lengthy to drive. So he hired a driver full-time. Then bought a BMW X6 for about 500,000 Singapore dollars so it was easier to drive. All within a week. Buy Twitter and run it into the ground. My aunt feeds her dog steak. Get into a new hobby. Purchase a full set of top-tier equipment. Then decide to try another hobby and put all the equipment in the attic. Downloading an app and then immediately paying over $100 for the lifetime premium version. Because they CBA with ads and limited features. This is before giving it time to see if they actually like the app. In a casino at the roulette wheel, guy casually sits down and puts £1,000 on black 28. Everyone is like bro is cray cray, but nevertheless everyone also puts money on 28. I put £5 on. Of course 28 lands and everyone loses their minds. Dude just takes his £36,000 in chips and calmly walks away. Absolute legend. And I won £180 as well. Met with the owner of one of the biggest denim suppliers in China. Decided to install 15 20-feet pillars in his Kowloon HK home. On the surface this doesn't sound too crazy until you realize how crazy rich you have to be to even own a home in Kowloon area. Used to work in psychiatric dementia care. One of our patients' families bought the house across the road for him to live in with 24-hour care. His wife couldn't cope with his dementia but wanted him close by. Full cart of groceries at any Canadian grocery store. Not specifically a rich person per se, but a CFO of a company that was worth $. I was at a meeting where the auditor was mentioning needing to ask the bank where they keep some accounts. Some questions and the CFO just picks up the phone and says, "Hi, this is Mr. CFO. An auditor is going to call with some questions. Make sure you turn it around fast." The auditor then said, "You just call the bank up and instruct them like that?" CFO. "We own the bank. Pay for a full tank of gas just because I gave them a lift for a short distance." He had a house with a large separate garage. He decided he was tired of his house. So he had the garage renovated into a functional house. Moved his family into the garage house. Tore down his actual house and had a new one built on top. Moved into the new house and had his garage house converted back into a functional garage. Same story I told a few weeks ago when I mentioned here a few weeks ago where I casually told my dad's old pig farmer friend I was building a school in Sierra Leone and he asked how much it would cost, and a week later I got a check for the full cost $40,000. He's sent at least another $60,000 since then for other projects. Like digging a well. We were going dirt biking and my buddy who owns a construction company couldn't get his bike started. He said no problem, stop at the Yamaha dealer on the way out of town and I'll just buy a new one. Watched a guy come in and buy the big 6,000 piece Lego at it as a last minute Christmas present. Had no idea what it was, just saw the size of the box and said that one.